Hi, welcome back. Today I wanted to read to you from one of my children's favorite books. When they were little, we got our two daughters out of the Child Protective Services. They had experienced a bit of trauma and difficulty for the first 3 or 4 years of their lives. They were born a year apart. And so these two little girls were my nieces at the time, and I took them in as a foster mom and eventually adopted them and then married my husband, who also adopted them. But at the time that I took them in and I was their foster mommy, this book really talked a lot about their experiences. One of the wonderful things about our library is that we try and find books that reflect children's experiences that are not normally reflected in the children's books that you would find in a bookstore. So if any of you have been through the experience of coming to your family through a bumpy road and possibly having some trauma early on in your life, this book is for you. And this book is for my beautiful daughters, both of whom are now teenagers and healing from everything that happened to them. So today I'm going to read to you from Our Gracie Aunt by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Jon Muth. Jacqueline did a reading of Each Kindness that we posted on our page as well. I encourage you to check that out. I'm hoping that she'll also read this one because she has such a lovely voice. But I wanted to share it with you today, partially because I'm thinking about my daughters. Our Gracie Aunt. Our Gracie Aunt by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Jon Muth. There we go. When the lady came that night, Bibi was in the kitchen making sandwiches. The lady said, "Hi, my name is Miss Roy. I want to talk to your mama." "Don't open that door, Jackson," Bibi said. So I didn't. When Miss Roy came the next morning, we were both asleep on the couch. "You have to open the door," she said. "Not for strangers, we don't," Bibi said back. I looked under the door. I could see Miss Roy's shoes. They were nice. "Where's your mama?" Miss Roy wanted to know. Bibi got real quiet. After a while, she said, "She went someplace." "How long has she been gone?" I counted the days on my fingers. "Since a few minutes ago," Bibi said. "Well, I'll be back this afternoon," Miss Roy said, "and if your mama's not home, I'll have to take you with me. It's not safe to leave little kids alone." "I'm not a little kid," Bibi said. But Miss Roy's nice shoes were already click-clacking down the hall. "You think Mama's ever coming home, Bee?" Bibi frowned. "She always did before, right?" "Sometimes my mama went away for a day, sometimes for a lot of days. That's how it was with our mama." "You know where Miss Roy wants to take us?" Bibi said. "Foster care. It's when you live with somebody that's not your mama." "They have toys in foster care, Bibi?" Bibi looked kind of sad. "Sometimes." When Miss Roy came in the afternoon, Bibi finally opened the door. Miss Roy was tall, like Mama. "You must be Bernadette," she said to Bibi. "Everybody calls me Bibi, though." "Bibi," Miss Roy said. "I like that. And you must be Johnson." I was hiding behind the couch because I stuck my head out and I nodded. "I don't have another name," I said. Miss Roy smiled. She had a pretty smile, Miss Roy did. "How come you already know our names?" Bibi asked. She gave Miss Roy one of her looks. Bibi had all kinds of looks she could give people. "A neighbor called and said that you'd been alone a while," Miss Roy said. "My job is to make sure little kids get taken care of." "I'm not a little kid," Bibi said. I didn't say anything. It seemed like a nice job, the one Miss Roy had. Miss Roy helped Bibi put some stuff in a bag for us. Even though I told her not to, she brought Bluey. "I'm too big for that," I said. "Let's take it anyway," Bibi said, trying to sound like a grown-up, showing off for Miss Roy. "What about when Mama comes and we're not here?" I asked. "What if she can't find us?" "I'll leave her a note." Miss Roy had one already written up. She put it on the table under the salt shaker. When we walked outside, Miss Clyde from across the street said, "You all be good, you hear?" Miss Clyde always kept an eye on us. Sometimes she brought food over. "I'm hungry," I whispered to Bibi. She gave me one of her mean looks. Miss Roy had a shiny white car. She made both of us sit in the back with the seatbelts on. "I was able to get in touch with your Aunt Gracie," Miss Roy said. Bibi just shrugged and stared out the window. But I looked right at Miss Roy and asked her who this Gracie Aunt was. "Mama's sister." Bibi's voice was real quiet. "How do you know about her?" she asked Miss Roy. "I talked to some neighbors," Miss Roy said. "I did some searching, and I found her on the other side of town." "Mama doesn't like Aunt Gracie," Bibi said. I folded my arms and frowned. "How do you know her?" "You know her too, Johnson. You probably just don't remember, because you were real small the last time we saw her." "Your Aunt Gracie's a good person," Miss Roy said. "I know she'll take care of you." "My mama can take care of us," Bibi said. She stuck out her bottom lip. We all got real quiet. After a while, Miss Roy stopped at a restaurant. "Can I have anything I want?" I asked. Miss Roy nodded and touched my head. Her hand felt nice there. "Our mama knows where our Gracie Aunt lives?" I asked. Miss Roy nodded again. "So she'll be able to come get us when she gets home, right?" Miss Roy said, "We'll see." Miss Roy drove us to a big house near the river. A woman came out, drying her hands on her jeans. She stood on the porch looking at us and shaking her head like she couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it either. There was a tire on a rope hanging from a tree, and one of those red cars you get in and pedal, and pretty flowers everywhere. "You don't even miss Mama," Bibi said. She was mad because I was looking at all our Gracie Aunt stuff. "Do too." And I did, way deep down inside. Our Gracie Aunt hugged me and Bibi. I hugged her back because I liked the way she smelled, like something sweet cooking on the stove. But Bibi stayed stiff. "I have some cookies baking, and your names are on them," our Gracie Aunt said. Then Bibi smiled. It was a little tiny smile, but I saw it. That night, our Gracie Aunt said, "I want to tuck you all in." "What's tuck in?" Our Gracie Aunt pulled the cover tight around me and made sure my head felt good on the pillow. "That's tuck in," she whispered, kissing my forehead. I liked tuck in. "Bibi needs tuck in too." "No, I don't," Bibi said. Then she turned her head toward the wall and didn't say anything else. Our Gracie Aunt sat on the edge of my bed and sang a song about birds watching over us. It was a pretty song. Bibi turned her head a little. She was listening too. The next morning, Bibi asked, "How come you never came to see us if you're our aunt?" "You know how you and Johnson argue sometimes?" "Well, me and your mama did too," her Gracie Aunt said. "We stopped speaking to each other a long time ago. I don't even remember what we were arguing about. Then me and your mama lost touch." "But how come you didn't get back in touch?" Bibi asked. After a long time, our Gracie Aunt said, "You all moved a couple of times. I didn't know where you were anymore. I even tried to call you." "We don't have a phone," I said. "I know," our Gracie Aunt said. Bibi rolled her eyes up to the ceiling. "People all the time making excuses about going away." "Just because a person goes away," our Gracie Aunt said, "doesn't mean they don't love you." "What does it mean then?" Bibi asked. "It just means they'll be back." I wanted to yell. "I wish I knew," our Gracie Aunt said. "What did you love about Mama?" Bibi whispered. "She was a good big sister when we were little. I loved everything about her." And Bibi said, "Me too." "Yeah," I said, "me too." Sometimes our Gracie Aunt let us help her cook She let us throw spaghetti against the wall. It stuck when it was done. And Saturday nights, she made popcorn and let us watch scary movies with her. When the vegetables were ready, we picked them from the garden. And when I cried about missing Mama, our Gracie Aunt gave me Bluey to hold. It's good to cry, she said. Crying washes you out inside. Some days me and Bibi sat crying, washing ourselves out from the inside. One day, me and Bibi were out playing when Miss Roy drove up. She went into the house and talked to our Gracie Aunt for a few minutes. Johnson and Bibi, Miss Roy said, I need you to come with me for a while. Your mother wants to see you. Me and Bibi ran to her car. The whole way we were jumping up and down in our seats. We're going to see Mama, Bibi whispered. I smiled. Mama had come back to us just like I knew she would. Miss Roy drove us to a tall building. You go right in there to the first floor room, she said when we got inside. I'll wait here for you. Mama looked different. She looked smaller and sad. I held tighter to Bibi's hand. Hi, Mama. Bibi leaned over and kissed Mama. Then she squeezed my hand, and I whispered, hi, and kissed her too. I thought about the tire swing in our Gracie Aunt's yard. I thought about me and Bibi not even saying goodbye to Gracie Aunt. Then I thought about all the nights me and Bibi didn't eat because we didn't have any food, and we didn't know where Mama was. I wanted to go back to our Gracie Aunt. There was always something to eat at her house. Every night she gave me a tuck-in, and even though we're big, some nights our Gracie Aunt let me and Bibi sit on her lap. Just the three of us, sitting quiet and hugging. Our Gracie Aunt said, everybody needs a little love sometimes. Even when a mama loves you, she can't always take care of you. Sometimes she has to go away, Mama said. I know, Bibi said. I know, I said, even though I really didn't. We going home? Mama shook her head. Not right now, Johnson, but when we get home, it'll be for always. Your Aunt Gracie's going to take good care of you until I can again. When's that going to be? Soon, Mama promised. I took my red truck out of my pocket and gave it to Mama. You can keep it if you want it. Mama held it against her cheek and smiled. You all just remember that I love you, okay? Will you remember that? Me and Bibi nodded. Our Gracie Aunt told us, I said, that you loved us and stuff. Gracie's a good person, Mama said. Bibi wiped her eyes. You're good too, Mama. Late in the afternoon, me and Bibi climbed out of Miss Roy's car. Our Gracie Aunt was standing on the porch, smiling. We ran as fast as we could up those stairs. Do you love us? I asked. And our Gracie Aunt nodded. Do you have to go away? Bibi wanted to know. She pulled us to her and held us tight. I don't have to go anywhere but here for now. You're our Gracie Aunt for always, right? Yes, I am, Johnson. I'm your Gracie Aunt, Aunt Gracie for always. Aunt Gracie, I whispered. Then I said it a little louder. Aunt Gracie. And we hugged for a long, long time. So for those of you who watch this that were part of my girls coming into our family, I just want to thank you. One of our phrases for a long time was, it takes a mountain. And it did, as a single mom, take a mountain to take in those two beautiful girls and give them home. Thank you for watching this. If you know of any child in foster care right now, this might be an important book for them, so please share. And thank you, Jacqueline Woodson, for writing one of my absolute all-time favorite children's book. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Love those you're with.